everyone. Welcome to Ironman Radio, and I guess today, sort of Ironman video. How scary is that?
Scary when they got to look at you.
Well, this is true. As many people have said, a face perfect for radio. So now we're doing our best to really turn people off. Okay, well, as you can see right behind us, or you can't see because you're practically blind.
I have eyes in the back of my head.
Hey, and what I love today, love that interview. So how do I look? Asking a blind guy, how do I look? Nice.
Well, I'm not going to ask a real, 100% vision person to tell me how I look. I know I look like crap. I mean, if you ask Aaron Sheedies, he's going to tell me I look great because he can't see me. So therefore, hey, check him out tomorrow, mate. Aaron Sheedies, he's going to go fast. 30 miles an hour, he reckons he's going to be right.
Well, no, you kept saying 30. He kept saying 28.
Well, 28 and 30 is a big difference, isn't it? Not much.
Yeah, down in Australia, maybe not. For the rest of us, 2.
That's 3K
the difference
an hour
of a
difference.
2 miles, 3.2.
You had to get 2, didn't you?
There you go.
0.2.
So, 0.2, and okay. Eventually, we'll start talking about this radio show. But in all fairness, a year ago, you gave me the gears on this very day for losing the World Mini Putt Championship to one Greg Welch. So, just for the record, who took the title yesterday?
Real quick, you did 2 holes in one consecutive, like on the 16th and 17th hole.
17th and 18th.
17th and 18th. Oh, do I forget after 24 hours? My goodness, never going to let it down. But yes, you took it. All right, fair enough. On to the race.
On to the race. Matt Reed, R-E-E-D. He's not Peter Reed's little brother. He pointed that one out to me yesterday.
Big brother.
Whew. I would not be wanting to race him tomorrow. He seems like he's ready to go, and speaking of 30 miles an hour, yes, could be very well going that fast.
You know what, he's really focused, and when we got through his interview, he was saying that he's ready to go. At his other 70.3 race this year in California, he wore a wetsuit that was a little bit too small for him, and he suffered, throughout that, had an asthma attack as well. Lost 2.5 minutes in the swim and still won the race. So look out for Matty Reed tomorrow. Don't be surprised if he goes off the front or tries to go off the front very early on the bike ride. I think he'll be looking for guys like Bjorn Anderson, Philip Graves, that type of company to get going nice and early. Those guys are going to really rock it, through this field, and I wouldn't be at all surprised tomorrow if somebody tries to go out there and breaks 2 hours on the bike. It won't be Matty Reed. It might be in the form of Bjorn Anderson or Philip Graves. My real prediction would be Philip Graves, but those 2 guys that I mentioned are strong bikers.
Okay, totally with you on that one. What I found very interesting talking to Philip Graves yesterday, or you were interviewing him, and he had that great quote, professional cyclists never break away into the wind. And it hasn't stopped blowing here. How much is that going to affect not only his race, but the rest of the race?
I absolutely throw that out the window. He's going to attack wherever he can, and he'll go, whether it's windy or not. He has to, because it's quite a while until you get out onto that road. We've got McMullen Booth Road. I want to say in one direction is about 18 miles long, and the wind direction, as we speak at the moment, would mean that that's going to be a tailwind. So yes, the first part's going to be all headwind. So I don't think that that's going to come to fruition. I think he'll go earlier. I think he'll make his way through that field. I think he'll be.
Yeah, he won't have to make. Because I watching him swim at UK, he was unbelievable. Yeah. So certainly, I don't imagine him being too far back.
Right.
Are there any other players who can get into this? I get the feeling, certainly, I think it was Torrento yesterday saying there's going to be 6 people clear. This is going to be a little different this year. In the past we've sort of seen everything bunch up on the men's side. Is the wind going to help break that up?
Yeah, I think so. I think the wind will help it break it up a little bit on the first part. As we were saying, headwind, the first part of it, it'll be tough, but it's also where they're at their strongest. Right. So they'll be really busting their backsides to stay with each other. And don't be at all surprised to see, Matty Reed, Philip Graves, Bjorn Anderson,
Greg Bennett. Yeah,
definitely Greg Bennett, Brent McMahon, Stuart Hayes, Ronaldo Colucci from Brazil. You'll see these guys all riding together. I may have missed a couple of names in there, like Luke Bell, but not too many. Those guys will be right up there pushing it very, very hard. And then you'll have guys like, Oscar Galindez and a few of the other stragglers on the swim, trying to make up that time on the bike. And Tomorrow's going to be really, really hard on the bike. I've got a feeling that they're going to go very close to that 2-hour mark.
I'm just doing a mental blank right now. One Vineman this year, Joe Gambles.
Yeah.
Another name that we certainly shouldn't forget. And what I thought was interesting,
Timothy O'Donnell,
defending world long course champion. But what was interesting for Joe, one Vineman set a course record, and one Torrenzo Bozzoni did exactly the same thing last year. And we know how he did last year.
Yeah, that's right. Torrenzo Bozzoni, Joe Gambles, and Timothy O'Donnell, the three guys that we omitted from that group that are going to do extraordinarily well. So, you know what, I think that when Greggy said that there was going to be 6 guys, I see more. I absolutely see more. I see a good dozen, guys in that lead group, and they're going to be going hell for leather out there in the first 10 miles of that bike ride.
The other thing that I'm finding fascinating from all of this is how many sub 111s people are talking about, even a sub 110 for the half marathon here to win this race, and it's getting kind of scary how fast these guys are running.
Yeah, it really is. And then Matty Reid, went out and said that he's been, running off the bike and wants to run 5:05s and 5:10s. So if he does, that's a 67, Matty.
and you kept a straight face through all of that, and I was just, my jaw was down on the ground at that one. That's quick.
It's quick, but you know what? If he's got the guts to lay it down there and say, I'm going to get out there and do that, I want to see him do it. That's fantastic. I mean, I give the guy credit for saying something like that, because that's what his goal is. If you don't have goals, how can you achieve them if you don't have them? So, he set himself a very, very good target.
That's a lofty goal, and that maybe is what it'll take to win here.
Lofty benchmark, but it does. And so, therefore, he knows that he has to put down a very, very good run, and it's going to take, a sub 112 to win this race after a very, very tough bike ride. And I think that, Matty, out of all those guys, got a great chance of doing it. Greg Bennett's got a great chance of doing it. We know what Torrenzo Bozzoni can do.
It's so just how tired is he?
Exactly. So we've got a good race, and it's going to come all the way down to the run course. About halfway on the run course on the men's race, I think that's where you're going to see our first look at our champion tomorrow.
One last thing, and we'll get on to talking about the women's race. Craig Alexander, who will be helping you out with the hosting the show tomorrow, is the winner of this race still going to have hanging over his head that Craig wasn't racing? Because not only the Ford Ironman world champion, but arguably, the top dog in the 70.3 world.
No, absolutely not. This is beginning to be one of the prestige races to win in the world outside of Ironman. I think that this is the second biggest race in the sport of triathlon, and this race is coming down to it's where the short course guys are meeting Ironman guys right in the middle, and you can't say that anymore. Absolutely no way. And you know what? Craig Alexander, he may have won the World Championship, the Ford Ironman World Championship 4 weeks ago, but he ain't in the race. It doesn't matter. Marinda Carfrey's not in the race. Chrissy Wellington's not in the race. These guys are out there racing each other. This is where, the Olympic distance meets the Ironman distance, and this is where they can still race. They race at this distance. It's not survival. It's a race, and so you're going to have to be on your game. And that's probably why Craig's not racing, because he doesn't feel as though he's on his game, and he'll get, torn up by these guys. So we have to look at it that way, and just wish these guys really well, because you know that they're going to give it everything tomorrow.
Women's race. I don't know if you could ever call Julie Dibbins a sentimental favorite, but after all the time she's gone out here and gunned after it, and was it 2 years ago she had that big lead and just
4 minutes,
could not hold it. I think there'd be a lot of people who would feel good to see her pull this one off.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago, 2007. She had a 4-minute lead off the bike and lost the race, and she really blew toward the end of the run. But she put it all down on the course. She laid down what she had, and she admitted it, and she left it all out there.
And she really appreciated you pointing out the fact that she blew a 4-minute lead during your interview earlier today.
Yeah, I don't mind bringing it up. We'll talk about it. We'll get it out there in the open. You know what? These guys are really good, because they love to talk about that stuff. Get it off your chest. Don't hold it in, because it's just a bad situation they want to get rid of anyway. Talk about it. Get it out there. But tomorrow I'm really looking at Julie having a great race. I mean, she is in fantastic form, a formidable cyclist. Swimming and biking, there is no one that's better than her right now in the sport. Honestly, I'd love to see her and Chrissy going for it in the lava fields. in Kona. That would be a ding dong battle right there. I know what had happened on the run, but sorry, mate.
I was just going to say it was interesting because Chrissy, you were there. Chrissy talking about hanging on for dear life to Julie Dibbins in training and all this stuff, and so I asked Julie about that today, and she's like, "Yeah, right. I've never dropped her. She's never dropped me." So it's sort of that would be a fun battle.
That would be a great battle. I want to see it one day, but let's get stuck
Some
into
of the
this
other
one,
women.
yeah, because Julie, she's definitely the one to beat, I think. Joanna Zeiger had a funny year. She went up and down like a yo-yo. Started out great, had some problems in the middle of the year.
I don't even know that she really started out great. She was saying she had problems in New Orleans with this dizziness and blood pressure stuff. I just assumed it was because she had that picture of you on her stem again and was swooning and all that, but she told me no, that wasn't it.
I believe that stuff. That's what I got to listen to all the time. No, but look, Joanna is one of those incredible athletes. 4th in the Olympic Games in 2000. She's done
5th in Kona in 2000. Just
4
weeks later.
5
weeks later.
5 weeks later.
You're so much better on those numbers.
Oh, sure. Thanks for bringing that up. And by the way, just thanks for jumping all over the top of me. I wouldn't do that to you. But anyway, Joanna's one of those great athletes, can do anything, any day. And I think that she's got herself back in that position where she's going to have a good race.
Did you know, I didn't even realize how fast she had gone in Austin. Like, it just sort of went by me. But the only time she's ever gone faster than she went when she won Ironman 70.3 Austin was here last year. So she's obviously in good shape.
She's in fantastic shape, and she's gotten over the problems. She was having a blood pressure drop problem.
Did you like that? I've got a salt lick in my bag here.
Tell you what, you can lick my arm after a day of golf or running around the block. But she's got a salt lick that she carries around with her. But anyway, she's figured out a nutritional supplies, and she's back into it. And look out for Joanna. Mary Beth Ellis is another girl that really hasn't shown much form this year, but she's had a big injury as well. She had a problem, I think, with the second metatarsal in her foot. I think she fractured it, and she had to get over that. She was training a little bit too hard on it, with saying that she was having problems with the shoes. Right. So she's back into it now, looking very good for this race. But
I didn't realize she's had some solid short course events. 12, 13. It's sort of in that top 15 realm in the ITU short course stuff, which obviously she'd like to be way higher, but that certainly prepares you well when you're coming in here if you've got that strength to have that speed. Yeah,
look, she's a complete package. She's young, and she's ready to show the world what she's got. And I think that maybe next year, maybe tomorrow, but maybe next year is going to be the year that Mary Beth Ellis really shows herself right at the front of each race at 70.3.
And training partners, Julie Dibbins, Joanna Zeiger. Yeah. That's gotta bode well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other couple of girls that I wanted to talk about, Leander Cabe's in the race as well. We all know how consistent Leander is, but a couple of girls that I really wanted to talk about, my dark horses, which was Sarah Groff. Fantastic swimmer, biker and runner. Yep. Miranda Carfrey caught Sarah right at the very end of the California 70.3 race in April this year, and she was one of the girls that we're looking to see some pretty special things about. The other girl, Laura Bennett, of course, 4th place at the Olympic Games in Beijing last year. An incredible runner. She's an incredible swimmer, biker, runner. She's done everything in the triathlon except win the World Championships at ITU level, and she won her very first race at 70.3 this year in Augusta and qualified for this race. So look out for Laura to really bring it home. I think that if she's going to struggle at all, I think it'll be later in the race, because she's been telling herself she doesn't know if she can do the distance.
She's been telling us all. It was funny to hear her talking about how much pain she was in, and
therefore I think she's planted the seed, right?
Well, the other way I'm looking at it is she's laying off the pressure and, I'm not supposed to be up here and all that stuff. But my gut feeling is if the Bennetts are here, they're ready to go for the win. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here. Yeah,
they wouldn't be here otherwise. So look out for those guys to have a good race. But you know what? There's a lot of people to mention. We can't mention them all, but tomorrow's going to be a great day. We've had pretty iffy weather all week long. It's been very rough. We've been on the side of Hurricane Ida. Now we've had a cold front go through in the last 2 days, and this afternoon it's just starting to settle down a little bit. The wind's still up, Kevin, but it's settling down. So
and it has been enough that unfortunately they could not set up the swim course out there. we're over on the other side. But the great thing is that at least they're going to have a swim. Hats off to the guys for having that contingency plan ready to go and being able to do it. So it'll be a little different on that front, but we're still going to have a world championship tomorrow, and we're still going to have a fantastic race tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. The weather conditions tomorrow, it's going to be in between 75 and 80 degrees. We're going to have about 15 miles an hour wind in the middle of the day, which is going to be good for the strong cyclists out there. But the water temperature is around about 71.8 degrees. We were getting a reading on that just a little bit before wetsuits.
Not 72?
No, not 72, 71.8. It makes a big difference when you're talking about wetsuits and all that. But wetsuits will be worn tomorrow morning. 6:45 is our start, and we can't wait to get it going.
Pro women first.
Pro women first.
8 minutes later, the pro men.
Yep.
Aaron Scheides and the some of those special athletes are going. You can help me out.
Yeah,
First
Ryan.
wave or the second wave?
In the first wave. Yeah, they're going in the first wave. So you'll have a couple of physically challenged athletes in the first wave with their girls out there. So look out for those guys to go. And then at 7 o'clock, we've got a mass start for the age groups that are going to be. It's not a mass start, but they're going to. Yeah, it's a time trial start where the age groups that are allotted those times, they go within their times, and then they all have to get across the mat. And as soon as they go across the mat, Kevin, their timing chip starts. So if you're going to be, watching us on ironmanlive.com tomorrow, or honing
or
into
just the athlete tracking, I'll be doing the text updates. The athlete tracking, we'll have all of that info. It's going to be a great day. We'll do this again tomorrow as a little bit of a wrap. Of course, unless both of our faces haven't broken the lens by then, so we'll see how we make out. That's right. So
we're radio faces.
Yeah, that's right, and we're doing this for Ironman Radio too, so people will be able to podcast and they'll go, "What are they talking about with this camera stuff and everything?"
That's right.
On behalf of Sir Plucky himself, Greg Welch, I'm Kevin Mackinnon, and thank you for joining us here at Ironman Radio.